Hi guys, sorry I couldn't be with you again today. We're going to start by looking at the pre-lab questions that we didn't do on Wednesday before our lab. Question number 1 was in the first lab, why did we use the SDS page to analyze the presence of EPO? So essentially, why did we run this gel in lab number 1? What were we trying to figure out Lance was doing between 99 and 2005? And why did we compare that to normal standards? What was the purpose of the gel? Number 2, as you observe the SDS page gel on the right, what do you notice about Lance's samples? We talked about this at the end of day 1, so it's kind of bringing back the information from Lance 1 and using it into Lance 2. So what do you notice about Lance's results, either compared to the normal or compared to each other? Question number 3 is how will Bradford solution and light absorption be used in today's lab in order to determine the EPO hormone in each of Lance's samples? So we decided that we needed more data, quantitative data. So we actually had to figure out how we're going to count the amount of EPO in each of Lance's samples. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm not capable of counting a tiny, tiny small particle of a protein. So what we did was we added this Bradford solution. That was the second solution you guys pipetted into each well, and it turned your samples a specific color. I'm not going to mention it because you might want to put it in your answer. But that color allowed the spec meter, that machine I put it in, to read and dye all of the little EPO proteins. So as soon as that Bradford solution dyed the EPO proteins, the light was shined in, and the machine was actually able to count the individual EPO proteins and give us a reading for every portion of the tray. So they want you to kind of summarize that for question number 3, why that's important. So we scroll down here, you guys got to the point then where you took your receipt and you entered in your absorbance values for your 2 trials and then created an average. Please make sure that when you made your average, you added these 2 up and you divided by 2. So the average absorbance number should actually fall between these 2 numbers. So take a quick glance at your data. If this number is higher than any of these numbers, you didn't calculate your average correctly. So once you've done your averages, you had to enter them into your graph generator. Hopefully your graph looks something like this. This is a true graph. It should be fairly similar for everybody in class. So if your graph doesn't come out to look like this, please go back and take a look at your averages. Okay. The next step that we need to do is we need to copy and paste this image of the graph into your lab as a Google drawing. So if we click on the graph, click on the graph so it's highlighted in blue, and do your Control-C, head back to the lab underneath number 7, and then look for where it says Insert, Drawing, and that'll open up a new window, and then you can insert that drawing into that new window. So again, it's Insert, Drawing, and then you're going to go to New. Obviously mine did not copy and paste well. Copy again. Insert. Oh, you know why? Because I'm not Tyler. So you're going to put that in to your data table or in your graph. And I'm going to allow editing so that I can actually edit Tyler's lab. We'll try this one more time. Insert drawing, new. Paste it in, and there we go. So I'm going to save and close, and my computer's having some issues here, and hopefully I should see a graph in here as a Google drawing. And you know it's a drawing if you double click on it and it opens up. So then we're going to head down here. In your lab groups, you had a sample from a specific year for Lance. You had it on the bottom of your receipt. Hopefully you entered in those values right here, and then you're going to calculate the average of those values. If you don't have that data, I have a document in Google Classroom where you can go in and you can find the data that came off of your receipt, and then you can copy and paste it in. Illinois, you're just going to have to make a couple of, one person in the group might have to do 2004, a couple other people in the group might have to do 2005. So that's here for you on that document. To calculate your hormone concentration level, you need to use your average absorbance number that's found right here. So once your group has figured out your average absorption number, you are going to use that on your Google Drawing graph. So going back to your graph, I'm going to make things up. I'm going to pretend that my group's absorbance average for the year that we did was 1. So I'm going to come up here, select a line, and I'm going to start with my absorbance average of 1, and I'm going to draw a line until it hits my line of best fit. That's that blue curved line. I'm going to click on the line button again. I'm going to drop that line, that line down until I hit the x-axis, and I get a EPO concentration number. So in this case, my group would say about an 8.8 would be Lance's concentration of EPO for the particular year that I was taking my study for. So you're going to do that for your year, and then you're going to report that back out. Delete this. You're going to report that back out in your results for hormone concentration. And then you're going to highlight or delete. Tell us if that's a normal range number. So is it 4 to 24? Is it slightly elevated? Or is it really high elevated for Lance? And this is the document that everybody's going to see. Because right now you can't see a Google Doc or a Google form if we try to share it out with each other. It's just not going to work. Once you've completed that, you are going to take all the data from every lab group, and you are going to complete the table for the entire class's data. So you are going to record the hormone concentration, and if you feel it's elevated, normal, or slightly elevated for the particular years that we are studying. So those get recorded right here under question number 10. Once you have that figured out, I have a question that will get posted in Google Classroom for you to answer. So you're going to use your data to answer that special question. And then you're going to continue on working on the Unit 1 study guide. Don't panic, our Unit 1 test isn't for another week. It's not for a grade, the study guide. We will go over it, but it's just something to be working on to review the materials. And I'll see you guys all on Monday. Thanks.